All right, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. No, so we'll discuss today, about the introduction to the corporate finance or introduction to financial management. No, today what I will discuss is all about. Will define the basic types of Finman, decisions, and the role of financial manager. Explain also the goals or the goal of Finman, financial management, and also about articulate the implications, no, of the different forms of organizations. Diba? Alam niyo naman yan. We have the sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation, and explain the conflicts of interest between the managers and the owners. Anong tawag doon? Agency problem. Okay? And also, to summarize everything, no? Finance, a quick look, corporate finance, and the role of financial manager, the forms of business organizations, the goals of financial management, the agency problem, sabi ko kanina, no? And we will end with the financial market and the corporation. Sige, let's begin. Okay. So, ano ba class ang ibig sabihin ng finance, no? A quick look. So, corporate finance, no, is basically more to uh, topics, no, or to discuss more about finance is all about investments, about the institutions, no, whether it is financially or non-financial, no. Madami tayong mga institutions but focus more on financial institutions, no, and the international finance and the fintech, no, di ba ngayon we have fintech, no, we have Gcash or any other technology, no, in finance, no. So what do you mean of investment? It deals with your financial assets, your stocks, your bonds, no. So we have also institutions, no, financials that are deals primarily in financial matters, no. Then we have also here international finance, no. It careers generally involve international aspects of either corporate finance, investment, or other institutions, and the fintech combinations of technology and finance. Okay. So, what do you mean talaga of corporate finance? No? So, but before that, very important here are the three questions. Pag sinasabing corporate finance, what long-term investment should take on, and what lines of business will you be in, and what sorts of buildings, machinery, and equipment will you need, no, or where will you get long-term investment? Okay, saan ka kukuha ng pera, whether it is equity financing or debt financing? How will you manage your everyday life, no, whether it is financial services, no, as collecting your customers and paying your suppliers? Yan ang pinaka goal natin. Okay, that's why class, as financial manager, no, as owners like stockholders, no, of a large corporations are usually not directly involved in making business decisions, especially on a day-to-day basis. So that's why corporations employ managers to represent the owners' interests and make decisions on their behalf. Yan yung goal natin, no? As a financial manager. Hopefully, class, no, all of you will become CFO soon, to become the vice president of finance. I myself, no, I am the CFO of one of the big company now, no. So hopefully kayo din, no, because very important is the role of a CFO. So ano ba yung role of the CFO? Tayo class ay more we give assistance and we give advice. That's why as part of the vice president, no, of finance, it coordinates activities of the treasurer and the controller. And very important is treasurer. No? So dalawa yan class, controllers and treasurer. Controller's office handles costs and financial accounting. We have your tax payment and management. And we have your treasurer's office is responsible for managing the firm's cash and credit or financial planning and capital expenditures. If you notice, magkaiba ang controllership and treasurership. Pag controller, yan ay role of an accounting. If you notice, cost, financial accounting, tax payment, management information system. Treasurer naman, more on cash, credit, financial planning, and capital expenditures. Kaperahan yan, no? Controllership is more on accounting. Treasurership more on financial management. Yan yung tanong sa CPA board exam. Okay? So, please take note of that. Okay? That's why class, in the org chart, no, in figure 1.1, we have the board of directors, then we have the chairman of the board or the CEO, then the president and the and the COO, and we have the vice president for marketing, the vice president for finance or the CFO, and the vice president for production. So, since we are talking here about accounting or finance, yung CFO ay dalawa yon. Ang handle niya yung treasurer and controller. Yung treasurer, hawak na yung cash manager, yung credit manager, your capital expenditure, and financial planning. If you notice, as part of the treasurer, more on cash management, more on kaperahan, more on kautangan, credit. While controller, tax manager, okay, cost accounting manager, financial accounting manager, and data processing manager, more on accounting. Yan yung role ng controller natin. Okay? Alright. Tandaan to class ha, kasi yan ay lumalabas in the CPE board exam. By the way, ang role natin, our role in accounting or in a corporation is our role is more staff position versus line position. Line position is more giving command. Tayo naman is more on giving advice and assistance. Tandaan yan na, staff position is our role. Okay. So, as part of your financial management, since we are finance, no? So, the financial manager must concern with three basic questions. Number one is all about capital budgeting, your capital structure, and working capital. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng capital budgeting? It is the process of planning and managing a firm's long-term investment. No? You evaluate the size, the timing, the risk of the future cash flows, and tinatawag nitong capex. Okay? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng capital structure? The mix of debt and equity. Depende yan, class, whether you will borrow money or you will accept business partner. If you will borrow money, you will consider interest. If you will accept business partner, you will consider giving dividends. And we have working capital, your current assets minus your current liabilities. Okay? And that would be your working capital management. Okay. Also, very important yung tinatawag nating forms of business organizations. In the Philippines or in the US, legal firms in the US ay same sa Pilipinas, that we have sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. Okay? So what do you mean of sole proprietorship? It is business is owned by a single individual. So in the Philippines, class, it is to be mandated or complied with the Department of Trade and Industry. Okay. So what would be the advantages of a sole proprietorship? No? Simplest type of business to start. They are least regulated. Kasi nga, only the DTI keeps all the profits. As the owner will keep all the profits. And what would be the disadvantages? Owner has unlimited liability. Yeah. Kasi pag kinasuhan, class, ang company, may kaso na din ang owner. Yan yung pangit, no? Okay? And all the business income is taxed as a personal income. Yeah. Unlike in the partnership or in a corporation, under corporation tax. Life of the sole proprietorship is limited to the owner's lifespan, and the amount of equity that can be raised is limited to the amount of a proprietor's personal wealth, and the ownership may be difficult to transfer. And that would be, syempre pag namatay yung sole proprietorship, yung may-ari, hindi mo na pwedeng ibigay sa iba kasi patay ka na, diba? Okay. And also we have partnership. A partnership is a business formed by two or more individuals or entities. And we have here general partnership or versus your limited partnership. So what would be the advantages and disadvantages? They're basically the same as those of the sole proprietorship. O ano yung disadvantages daw? Primarily, and the partnership, no? Which add up to the single problem, inability to raise cash for investment. Siyempre, kasi class, pag namatay yung isa, madidissolve ang partnership. Tapos, unlimited liability pa yan. Limited life pa ng business. Difficulty pa to transfer the ownership. That's why class, mas maganda if you will do a corporation. Because corporation is a business owned or a distinct legal entity, no, composed of one or more individual or entities, no. Ibig sabihin, it is a legal person separate and distinct from the owners, no, with the many rights, duties, and privileges of an actual person. So stockholders or managers are usually separate from the groups, no. So what would be the advantages? Okay, so advantages here is ownership can be readily be transferred. So pwede mong i-transfer yung ownership mo sa iba. Okay, life of a corporation is unlimited. San Miguel is 137 years na. So pwede siyang unlimited, no. Limited liability for stockholders. Yeah. Kasi class, a separate legal entity. Kung may utang si Ramon ang, walang utang ang corporation. Kung may utang ang corporation, walang utang ang San Miguel, ang si Ramon ang. They are distinct legal entity. Kaya lang class, disadvantages mo ay double taxation. Meaning to say, corporate profits are taxed twice. First as the corporate level when they are earned, and again at the personal level when they are paid out. Okay. So also in terms of corporation has many variations worldwide, no? Whether in the US, in the Philippines, etc., etc., no? May be referred to as joint stock companies, publicly limited companies, or limited liability companies, no? As a benefit, corporation or profit, it has three legal attributes: accountability, transparency, and purpose. So what do you mean of accountability? It refers to the fact that benefit corporation must consider how an action will affect the shareholders, employees, customers, the community, and the environment. You are accountable and responsible. And we have transparency. Ibig sabihin, you should disclose information to others. You must provide annual report to the stockholder. Okay? That will or any factors that will inhibit the pursuit of this legal or of this goal. And the purpose. Ano ba yung purpose natin? It refers to the idea that the benefit corporation must provide a public benefit either to society as a whole or the environment. And that would be the role of a corporation. Okay. What else? That's why class, to summarize everything, what would be the goals of financial management? Tatlo lang yan. Number one, to increase your profit, to maximize your profit, to maximize your returns. Number two, to minimize your costs, to minimize your expenses. And the last one is to maximize the shareholders' wealth, to maximize the existing stocks market share. Okay. So, first thing muna, as part of the profit business, the goal of financial management is to make money, of course, or to add value for the owners. And what are the some possible goals? Number one, again, as discussed kanina, to increase profit, to maximize returns. And number two, to control risk or to minimize risk or to minimize the cost. And the last one is to maximize the shareholders' wealth on the stockholders' point of view, to maximize the current value of share. Alam nyo ba class, Jollibee Food Corporation dati, if I remember right, that the stocks is only 32.90. Ngayon class, if you go JFC Corporation 217 na, no? That's wow, a big increase. Okay? Particularly for the goals of financial management. That's why class, as a more general goal, no, is to maximize the market value of the existing ownership equity. Okay? Pero class, please take note, the goal is to maximize the market value. It should be legal. No? Wag yung goal does not imply that the financial manager should take illegal or unethical to increase the value of the equity of the firm. Anong gagawin natin? Dapat legal siya, no? That's why we have the Sarbanes-Oxley Act or the SOX Act, no? Enacted in 2002, intended to protect the investors from the corporate abuses. So sa US to class, ito naman ay to protect lang the investors. Ano yung pinaka-goal niya? To have assessment on the company's internal control structure, to report or must review and sign annual report, and must list any deficient in the internal control. And that's the goal of SOX. Or in other words, dapat i-disclose, no, ng may-ari ng korporasyon kung ano yung kanilang nature of business. Kung sila ba ay palugi or hindi. Yeah. That's why class, very important is the agency problem also. What do you mean of agency problem and the control of the corporation? Ibig sabihin, relationship between the stockholders and the management is called an agency problem. Ibig sabihin class, ang pananaw ng may-ari, the owner, ay iba sa pananaw ng manager. Okay? There would be possibility of conflict of interest between the stockholder and the management of the firm. That's why there would be cost. Agency costs refer to the cost of conflict of interest between the stockholders and the management. How do we do that? There would be indirect agency costs or lost opportunities, or there would be direct agency costs come into two forms. Corporate expenditures that benefits management but cost the stockholders. And we have expense that arises from the need to monitor the management actions. There would be a possible conflict of interest, and there would be a cost. Alright, next one. Do managers act in the stockholders' interest? Of course. Siyempre, unang-una, ikaw ay may sweldo as a managerial officer. Management will frequently have a significant economic incentive to increase the share value for two reasons. There would be management compensation is usually tied up in terms of your KPIs, your performance, and they are successful in pursuing stockholders' goals that will be greater demand in the labor market and thus command a higher salaries. And next one is how you will be able to control the firm. So stockholders ultimately control the firm as they elect the board of directors who in turn hire and fire the managers. And at the same time is to control the firm. Stockholders ultimately control the firm as they elect the board of directors who in turn hire and fire the managers. Okay? And of course, existing management naman may be replaced by stockholders via proxy rights and your takeovers. Okay? Ayan. So that would be your managers or stockholders' interests. Okay. Next one is all about your stakeholders. No? So, who are the stakeholders? Management and stockholders are not only parties with an interest in the firm's decisions. Employees, stock of customers, suppliers, and even the government have the interest in the firm. So sila lahat ay stakeholder. In other words, stakeholder is someone other than stockholder or creditor who potentially has a claim on the cash flows of the firm. And such groups will also attempt to exert control over the firms and perhaps to the detriment of the owners. And that would be the third part now. Next topic is all about your financial market. So, ano yung financial market? It is the venue wherein you have the users and the suppliers of capital. there would be exchange of the users and the suppliers of capital. Sino ba yung users of suppliers, or also known as the buyers and sellers? To buy and sell debt and equity securities. So, ibig sabihin class, no, as part of this, alright, the most important differences between the financial markets concerned and the type of securities that are traded, or how trading is conducted, and sino yung mga buyer and sellers. That's why we have primary and secondary markets. Okay? So, primary market, the corporation is the seller, and transaction raises money for the corporation. So, first time yan. Okay? Public offerings involve selling securities to the general public, and private placements naman are negotiated sales involving the specific buyer. And we have secondary market. Transactions involves one owner or creditor selling to another. So second time na to class, no, it serves as the means of transferring the ownership of a securities. In other words, class, ito yung cash flows between the firms and the financial markets. Yung A muna. So, yung nasa left side nyo, value of the firm's assets, and the right side naman, total value of the firm investors. So, of course, investors will issue securities. A muna, firm issues securities to raise revenue. Yung boy, firm invests in assets. Letter C, the firm's operations generate cash flows. And dog, cash is paid to the government as taxes, or other stakeholders may receive cash. And E, reinvested cash flows are flowed back into the firm. And the last one, cash is paid out to the investors in the forms of interest and dividends. And that would be your cash flow. In other words, there would be a users of capital and suppliers of capital. Parang bangko lang yan. Bangko is the venue of the financial market. May mangungutang, may nag-deposit ng pera. And that would be your financial market. Okay? So that's why in terms of financial market, there are two types. We have markets, dealer markets, auction market, no? Pero in the Philippines, dalawa yung types. We have capital market and we have money market. Capital market is more on long term. Okay? That would be bonds and equity. And we have also our money market, that would be short term. We'll discuss more about financial market in my next video. Okay? And these are some of the selected questions, no? Before we end, no? Again, what are the major areas of finance? To reflect upon, what would be the capital budgeting decisions? What do you call of a mixture of long-term debt? So, isip kayo class, balikan nyo lahat ng aking mga discussions. What are the three forms of your organizations? What are the corporate form? Superior when it comes to raising cash. What would be the agency problems and how they come about, and what are the agency costs, and what would be the dealer market, and how do the dealer and auction markets differ. So, and that's it. So that's my last video, no, about your introduction to the corporate finance. I hope that you will be you learned, no, from this video. Thank you very much and hope to see you. Bye bye.